The one thing I do know about my real parents is what they told me was that it was my mom's first time having sex when I was conceived. Which is a lie they tell adopted kids so you don't think your mom's a whore. Nobody wants to be the only load that didn't hit her chest. So. I'm adopted and I'm white, which is totally the way to go if you're going to be adopted. That's like being oceanfront property. You sell quickly. If you're adopted and brown, I hope you like bunk beds and cigarette burns, because it is foster care for you. I didn't win any sort of genetic lottery. I'm 25 years old and I look like this. I'm fucking awful. I don't even think I was a mistake. I think they just had me and went, ooh, we can do better. I have the DNA of a 3-star hotel bellhop. I'm not great, I'm trying to say. I look like an NHL 99 creative player that nobody bothers to work on. People always are always like, being adopted are always like, oh, aren't you afraid that you'll date a girl and years later you'll find out that she's like actually your sister or something? And like, first of all, I would never fuck a girl who looks anything like me to begin with. But secondly, who gives a shit, really? Does it really matter that much? First of all, science has never proven that incest creates mongrel babies. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of anecdotal evidence of fucking big-headed hand-clapping babies. There's lots of that, don't get me wrong, but realistically, anyone who's gonna fuck their sister to begin with, that's not a real strong gene pool. Anyone that scrap iron salesman found a dumb seed into probably wasn't gonna have outstanding offspring, you know what I mean? Like, if rocket scientists were all known for being inbred, everyone would be like, oh, call up sister, we gotta have us a genius baby. That's a point I don't need to defend, I think. That's a weird joke. Another thing I always get is that people will be like, oh, you're adopted? That's crazy, man. That means you can fuck your mom. I'm like, really? Is that the only thing holding you back? Is that? That's a reason to fuck my mom. My dad's a good one, I thought. That's fucking weird. You in bed every night like, if only she wasn't my biological mother. Be in there. Two incest jokes. Weird. And the other thing is, I got adopted in the shittiest era of adoption, right? I got adopted when it was about barren women shooting blanks. Now it's like trendy to adopt a kid, right? Like now, I could have been Angelina's kid, right? Which, let me tell you, would completely change my opinion on the whole not fucking my mom thing. Get mom loaded and go to town, tune, or whatever. Something about me. A couple years ago, I went from being 260 pounds to 180 pounds in about a season of baseball. And I did that, thank you, with what doctors would refer to as an eating disorder. I called it apples for dinner, but apparently I was wrong. You're not supposed to have the muscle structure of a Hutu tribesman. Nobody takes a guy with an eating disorder seriously. You'll fuck with a guy with an eating disorder. The people will come up to me and be like, oh, you sure you want to eat that? Right? Nobody goes up to a schizophrenic guy and is like, hey, do you hear that? You know what I mean? And there's things that they do not tell you in health class about avoiding eating disorder, like all the extra skin you're gonna have. I have so much loose skin under here. I look like a mother of 3 under my shirt. I have a lot of, if anyone knows any burn victims, I have an extra face they can have. My stomach, it's not. But if there's one thing I can tell you as a guy who suffered from anorexia, it works. I lost 80 pounds in 6 months. Let's see Bowflex do that. I had a buddy that was like, we should go eat at an Ethiopian restaurant. I was like, that's an oxymoron, isn't it? An Ethiopian restaurant? Like, what, you go inside and search for food for 3 days? Breaking off table legs in hopes there may be termites inside you need. A UN helicopter flies by and drops off a bag of rice at your table. Now you and your waiter need to fist fight to death for the bag of rice. The starving family in the corner cheering them on, but it doesn't matter because rebels from the restaurant next door will come by and steal the rice anyway. So. Here's a little tip I have for people. If you ever approach, you don't always have money to give to charity, you know. And if you're ever approached on the street and you don't have money to give, here's what you do. Say World Vision comes up to you, act very excited, and then go, "Who's the sexiest kid you have?" Can you give to World Vision if you're a pedophile? Because really, that's just money for pictures of kids. That's all that is. I'd like to donate to a kid so poor he can't afford clothes. Do you have something in that range? Sure, you're jacking off to him, but he still gets a coat or whatever. It's a win-win in my book. I don't like the Make-A-Wish Foundation either. I don't get that as a charity at all. I don't see why you'd ever want to make life seem really great right before a kid cashes out. You know? That doesn't seem... Why would you ever go and be like, "Hey there, little Timmy, here's Derek Jeter. Have a good nap." You know? I don't see... Why would you ever go to a group of kids and be like, "Remember, kids, anything's possible. Except for a cure to whatever you have." That seems mean to me. If I was ever a Make-A-Wish celebrity, I wouldn't make life seem really great to those kids. I would make life seem so fucking depressing to that child. I would tell him about taxes and women leaving him until he was so depressed he asked me to pillow his face just so he could leave a little sooner. Because I'm a good person. The real reason is because I'm from Windsor, Ontario, and a few years ago, that's not the only reason, shut up. There was this Make-A-Wish kid whose last dying wish was to have the bridge between Canada and the US painted entirely turquoise. I don't know why his last dying wish was exterior design advice, but not only did the kid die before the bridge was painted, one of the painters fell to death in the process. And now we got this stupid turquoise bridge to deal with, which, let me tell you, birds fly into at an alarming rate. That kid was the seagull Hitler. And now we gotta wait for a new kid to die before we can wish in a new color, so... If anybody knows a kid with a cough that likes the color red, send him to Windsor. We went to, me and Jim went to Canada's Wonderland today, and I love Canada's Wonderland. It's a really fucking fun place. I've gotten to season pass like the last 3 years, even though I'm this big of an asshole. I like roller coasters still. It was a great story. I was there last year, and I'm in line for Top Gun, and in front of me in line, there's this Muslim woman, right, with like a full hijab headscarf on, and we get onto the ride, right, and just as we go to make the last turn, it flies off of her head, and I was like, that's so sad to know at the end of the ride, they're gonna have to stone her. She just wanted a day at the park, and now it's an honor killing, you know? A lot of people don't like that joke. But here's how I defend it. A lot of people always say, like, the argument for the burqa is always like, oh, you know, Muslim women feel less oppressed because of the burqa, they're not a sexual object, right? And it's less oppressive. Because all the girls in the audience know there's nothing more oppressive than being a sexual object who gets what she wants, when she wants, whenever she wants. That's very oppressive. But here's the thing. is that if you like the burqa so much, then why do they have to threaten you with death to get you to wear it? You know what I mean? I love blue jeans. Nobody ever threatened me with stonings to get me to wear them. You know what I mean? If I was on that same roller coaster and somehow my jeans flew off during a ride, they wouldn't stone me to death. They'd stone the Muslim girl for seeing me with my jeans on. I like it.